All right, hey everybody, welcome back to Veterans and Beer. It's been a minute since I've actually done one. I think it's been 4 months since me and Tim did one, and I said that I was going to start doing it. So I'm recording episode 43, and by chance, I'm not at home, as you can tell. I'm actually at Black Rifle Coffee. They were gracious enough to allow us to have this space and amazing atmosphere. They're all smiling over there, so I'm waving at them. But I really appreciate the opportunity. Having some drinks, some Black Rifle drinks with Aaron.
Get the logo up.
Got to get the logo out. But I'm here doing a What's Your Why with Aaron. This is episode 43 for me. Aaron's here. Aaron's a crew chief. He's a retired crew chief. We cross paths several times. Know a lot of the same people. He was with the rescue units, and yeah, welcome, Aaron.
Well, thanks. Thanks. So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, it's going to be a What's Your Why, but I want to
Okay.
kind of give you a little background as to
Background?
who you are and
God.
when you joined, when you retired, and
Okay, that's easy. That's just all history. So that's actually just pulling up some memories here. So I actually joined back in 1987. I don't know. I know you weren't born. It's okay.
no,
It's okay.
I was 7.
Okay. All right. So I joined in 1987. Didn't know what I was going to do. So instead of going to college, I said, you know what? Hey, I'm going to join the Air Force. This is back when Top Gun was already out. Didn't influence me to join. It just, but I wanted to do something with aircraft. So I did. I joined, and then I ended up getting stationed. You don't know what you want to know where? It's been-
Where? Yes, yeah, no, absolutely.
All right.
It's the floor is yours.
Gotcha. So first assignment was actually the Luke Air Force Base up in Phoenix.
Did they have a rescue unit there?
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
wow.
I was
Okay.
weapons.
Oh,
I was
really?
weapons, yeah.
Oh, shit.
So I did conventional and nuclear weapons at the time, and then I ended up getting orders to Torrejon, Spain, Madrid. So I was in Madrid for about 3 years. Shut that place down. So all aircraft, and so we got to choose where we went. And then the funny thing is, I ended up in Spokane, Washington, on B-52s. And this is how much I didn't know. I was like, you know what? Hey, I think they got it all worked out. All the bugs worked out. That aircraft's so old, there's going to be no problems. Well,
It's all problems.
that was the problem. That was the problem. That almost did me in. That's when I retrained and got into rescue. So I ended up, I had made staff for E5 and said, you know what? Either I retrain or I get out. And so I retrained, went down to Wichita Falls, Texas, went through tech school when it was out there. And then my first assignment was Kirtland Air Force Base, 53s. So the big monster
Oh,
aircraft.
nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You either love them or hate them.
Yeah. Mhm.
I ended up loving them. I don't know how, but wonderful aircraft. Then I got an assignment over to Osan Air Base in Korea. And then I ended up, this is all before internet, right when internet was coming out. And
So
cell
90,
phones,
98,
cell phones. So, nope.
99, 2000,
Oh, no, this is 96.
96? Okay, yeah, okay.
96, 97. Because my daughter was born in 90.
Okay,
7.
gotcha.
Yeah. So, wife was pregnant at the time, almost the entire time I was gone. And ended up coming back, getting an assignment to Las Vegas. So I came back, went to Vegas, took the family there. Was in the rescue unit. That's when I was introduced to rescue. 66 rescue up there. Then I ended up having the opportunity after being up there for a little while. I actually almost got out. I got my A&P license, and then I decided, you know what, hey, I'm going to put this to use instead of the military, sector. Been in about 10 years, and it was either stay in, hit that hump, that 10-year point, or I get out. I was planning on getting out, and then September 3rd happened. September 3rd, 98 we had 2 helicopters crash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that unfortunately killed 12. 10 of them were good buddies, and that really it woke everybody up in a sense. Very, very saddening situation, obviously, but instead of me getting out, I was like, you know what? If I do get out, I felt like I was running away from that situation, and it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? There's no way I can get out. I got to be here for these guys, and myself. And so I stayed in, and that's when I got serious with the military, saying, okay, if I'm going to stay in the next, 10 years or so, 10, 11 years, I'm going to go ahead and, make it worthwhile. So that's, then of course I made tech, made master, and then my chief at the time was like, "Hey," came up to me. He's like, "Hey, what do you think about opening up a rescue unit down in Tucson?" And I'm like, So I had about 5, 6 years left. And so I was like, well, if I can get down there, that'll hold me so I don't have to go to Korea again, And so trying to milk that out so I didn't have to separate from the family. And so I took that opportunity. It was the best opportunity I took. Seriously. Came down, opened up Davis Mountain out here in Tucson. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And the reason I loved it was because we got down here. It's kind of surreal. We sat at this table. There were 10 of us. And I remember him asking, like, hey, if you could choose whoever you wanted to come down to Tucson, who would it be? And we
So like a draft, huh?
No, it was like little sticky notes. It was like a fantasy draft, dude.
Yeah.
And we sat down, we started, and I'm like, where's this going to go? Because this shit ain't real, And so I started naming people that I wanted to surround myself with. And sure as shit, about 2 weeks later, bing, 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 they all started getting orders. And they're all coming to Tucson. And it was a dream team. That's what we call it. It was a dream team. Some fantastic people. There's just a laundry list of these, rock stars. So so I was very fortunate, very fortunate. Some of them didn't want to come here, but selfishly I did. I'm not saying I had any influence because I didn't have anything to do with that. I just wanted to surround myself with good people. And you know what? It turned out fantastic.
Yeah.
It was about 6 months later. I got here in October of 2002. And in April, we spun up and we were in Afghanistan. And then from then it was just back to back.
So who'd you go with? Did you go with Abe? Was Abe part of that?
I went with Abe on one of the deployments. Abe Balderez. Damn good guy. Damn good dude. Yeah, that's a shame.
I wonder who went on that one, because I know a lot of the guys, the sheet metal guys.
Abe
I was actually there.
was on with. I don't remember the other individual that went, but I do remember a couple. Remember Chris Fontana was our maintenance officer at the time. I was the production suit. Remember that?
I wonder if it was Dave Nunez, Dave Flanders at the time.
I remember the names, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
I know that there's an ammo guy, Arnold. He had went. So he and I still have to stay in contact. The majority of people we stay in contact. It's just how the world works, with the rescue. So, but yeah. And then So then I retired in 07. Came in 87, got out in 07. So do the math. It's 20 years.
20 years.
Yep,
20 years on the dot. Yeah.
And then there you go. Then I got into real estate a little bit, and I don't know what the heck I was doing there, but I did real estate. And then I just retired out of that about 3 years ago, and done. 2 different worlds here.
Yeah.
Right out of the frying pan, right in the fryer.
Absolutely.
So,
A little context for you guys. And some of my friends were a part of the rescue and sheet metal guy out here.
Mhm.
When I say we crossed paths, I was here from 05 to 08. You were on your way out. I was deploying with a lot of your guys. I mean, I still got pictures of, me in Iraq with a whole bunch of those dudes in Balad, and we stood up the largest rescue unit since Vietnam.
Yeah,
and
you were probably there with a good buddy of mine that I was just with last week, Doug McDonald. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, it does ring a bell.
So
Yep.
he and I were just
Yep.
together last week.
Oh man, what was the Pro Super's name on that
Doug
one?
Couturier?
No. I know Doug Couturier.
Yeah, he
It
since
was
passed, yeah.
Oh really? Oh wow.
Oh, Doug passed away the year before I got out. The last year that I was in was
Okay,
a total
okay.
shit show.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad
Man,
shit.
I'm trying to think. There's so many. I have to pull up. I'll send you a picture of it and show you. But great memories. I mean,
Yes.
that flight line was
So
crazy.
yeah, the good thing is that it was still in color because when I came in, everything was black and white. So, yeah.
Man, I need to find those videos and pictures to send to you.
I
'Cause,
am
man, we
intrigued.
spun up.
I'm intrigued.
We spun up and like you hear the whole flight line because you had seals in front, the little tweet birds, and then going all the way down because at the very end of the ramp was the regular army, but then right before that you had the ranger units, the CH-47s that were spinning up, and then you had the oh man, it's a whole different world. And if none of you guys experience rescue, get an opportunity to do some research because I do love my fixed wing. I mean, I was on B1s, I was on everything. But the rescue units, he went from fixed wing to rescue. It's a whole different world. It's an amazing world just in itself.
One of the things that I'll comment on that. One of the things that I kind of kind of experiences. I call it the big blue. Air Force is big blue. Rescue is more of a family atmosphere. So we're so small to where it can be a very good thing or very bad.
Yep.
So, and if it's bad, you're not in rescue very long. But yeah, it's a very tight knit unit, some class act individuals, and just a lot of fun, family and brotherhood. It really is.
So now, you joined, you were what, 18?
I was.
So
I almost hit puberty. Yeah.
it probably still wasn't for another 4 years before you even got there. So you're after your first assignment or first tour. So why did you join the military? Like, what made you? I know you said you didn't want to go to college, but why the Air Force? Why the military? I mean, because you go through life, as a kid, and I think at 15 is when I decided I was like, you know what, I'm going to join the military. I was going to be a Marine, and then I was like, no. Here's.
You like hotels better?
Yeah, I do. They're nice.
Yeah. That's a good question. I joined. I forget what they call it. Whether you can join just a little bit ahead of time, so you're
delayed enlistment.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I did delay enlistment. I think I joined in like October, and I left 10 days after I graduated. So the reason I joined was I started watching all my friends commit to all these different schools, and I'm like, just academically, it wasn't my thing. It was not my thing. And I'm like, well, I know if I go to school, I know myself. I know if I went to school at that time frame, it probably wouldn't have turned out very well.
Yeah.
And then I would have wasted a year or 2 years. And I didn't have the money. We didn't have the money to do that. And I didn't even know the process or anything. So I was like, well, you know what? My dad was in the Army. And come to find out, my dad was actually a combat medic.
Oh, wow.
So this kind of ties into that rescue thing. But I didn't know that for many years later. And ironically, I'm like, you know what? If he served, let me. I think I'm going to do the same thing. And so that's the reason that I went in, and didn't know. I went in open. Didn't know what job I wanted. Yeah, I know that was a risk. That's a gamble, boy.
He could have been.
That was probably
forces.
the silliest thing I ever did. But luckily, I'm not saying weapons was great, but weapons taught me a lot of good things.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good things. Standardization for one, but yeah. So then once I got in and figured out how things operated and how things worked, and that's when I kind of set the tone.
Crazy thing, you talk about you didn't find out till years later that your dad was a combat medic. It's crazy to hear because a lot of the older generation doesn't ever talk like this or doesn't ever have this type of not even just platform, but even with your own family and stuff. And I made mention that this is what he's got a daughter that's in the military right now, and that way she can see it and she maybe learns a little bit something from him, off of this podcast.
It is. It's very true. I think she realizes that rescue's totally different animal. And that it didn't happen until she got into it.
Oh yeah.
So that was.
So you said she is rescue?
She is.
Yeah.
Yep. She's out here at the 305th.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, that's right. You did say the supply.
Yep.
Now, obviously, you said that at 10 years you were going to potentially get out, and then everything happened. But after your first enlistment, why did you decide to stay? Because a lot of people were like, you know what, I'm doing one enlistment, getting my college funds, and out. But for a lot of us, we stay in because of a reason.
Got it. Yep. Mine was pretty simple. I signed up for 6 years. So after that 6 years, and I didn't know why I did six, but I do know. They give you 2 stripes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's more money.
And a little bit of money or a little bit of bonus,
So I
right?
was like, all right, good to go. So I did that for 6 years. And then at that time frame, I made staff sergeant E5 right prior. So I'm like, oh, if I'm going to enjoy this stripe and this new income, I'm going to have to re-enlist. And I had my son.
Oh, yeah.
So therefore I was like, and I didn't have a plan. Yeah. The plan was just to stay in. I'm doing another 4. We'll be good, So that's why I did it initially. Now, if I go back, I would have just continued, but we'll get to that probably, I'm sure. Yeah.
And then, you said at your 10-year mark, everything happened on September 3rd, which tragic, very tragic. But I noticed, and through my time in the military, that something about accidents, death, and everything brings the unit and everybody closer together. Is that why you decided? I know you said, part of it was because you felt like you were going to run away if you left. But is that why you decided to stay?
That is the reason I stayed in. I just saw so much grieving and, confusion. Investigation lasted a very long time, which is very stressful, obviously. But, when you have two airplanes collide midair, it just, so therefore, yeah, it was an emotional decision.
Nighttime ops, daytime ops?
It was nighttime.
Nighttime?
Nighttime coming out of Area 51, kind of Green Lake area and whatnot. So it was over there, which was pretty intense because we had to pull our own rescue on that one.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of very emotional on that. And, you're a family and your families are all together. So therefore, watch the grieving of the spouses, and it's just horrible. People came from everywhere, and it was just unfortunate. So it's like, I can't leave this position in this kind of a situation.
A lot of, I've had this conversation with civilians. I just had my last job was in the mining industry.
Mhm.
And they don't fully understand why the military is such a close knit group. And I would always tell them that, when you deploy, you live with these guys. You spend more time with them than you do your family. And they don't understand that a job is a job. But brothers in arms, being in the military, you're there more than your 8-hour shift. Sometimes you're there 12, 16, 18 hours, or you're gone for 6 months and you're living close quarters, literally this close to each other for 6 months, and that camaraderie kind of just builds everything.
One of the differences that I'm saying, again, I've been in real estate for 22 years. I was in the military for 20 years. So let that sink in a little bit. All right.
I know how old he is.
I was in just, yeah, I know. I'm real close to 60. And I heard that. My hearing's not going. Yeah, I have selective hearing. But no, seriously, what I've noticed, and this has just been my experience only, is I have more loyalty with individuals I've served with for a year, 2 years, than I did with some individuals that I've known in real estate for over 20. And I asked myself, how is that? Why is that? And I think what I've come to conclusion with is in the military, it's about each other. And in the corporate world, it's about, and I hate saying it, it's about money. Or bottom line, and moving up or whatever. And that's what I love about the military. Everything's transparent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, transparent to the point of I know exactly what if I really care, I can find out what a colonel makes or a staff or anybody. There's a chart. It's pretty easy. In the corporate world, people are hiding things, moving things around. It's different.
It's pretty selfish. I mean,
Yeah.
it really is. I understand why,
Yeah.
but in the military, I mean, you're under one umbrella. You have to.
And so when you're taking care of each other, it doesn't matter. It's livelihoods. And you're right. You're living together and everything. So you get to know them and their spouses and their kids. And, I had one guy, I don't know if I told you this or not. Last time we were talking. Actually, I don't think so. But anyhow, he told me, and this is in Afghanistan, right before he jumps on the helicopter, probably the worst thing he could tell me. He was like, hey, if anything happens to me, make sure you take care of my wife and kids. I'm like, what do you mean, dude? So he didn't mean any harm by it, and I knew that. However, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's when it got real for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're in a real serious environment here, and it was actually kind of unique. Last year, I had the opportunity to tell him that, and this happened 25, 30 years ago. I said, it kind of rocked me a little bit. I said, not in a bad way, but just like it woke me up. It woke me up.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is there's so many things that are regimented in the military that everything is standards and accountability and systems and models to where it's a way of life. And in the corporate world, it's not.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to get there fast, and it's methodical.
Did he remember him
No,
saying that
he
to you?
didn't. At least he told me he didn't, and that's all right though, because I think it's just you go.
But it's crazy because a few words can impact an individual, and that other person doesn't even realize it until years later, if they ever realize it at all. And you hear that a lot, and you're just like, oh crap, like doing this. I've interviewed 30 something people, and you hear little things just come up and spark, and they're like, man, this moment in my life changed it to where my why then changed after that.
Well, and that was the thing for me when you're talking about why or reasoning, doing what reason of staying in. It was because of those other people. Like I say, I couldn't leave them in a situation at 10 years when we had this crash. That I can't leave them like that.
Yeah.
And it's also like I'm running away from a problem.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's opposite of kind of how I'm geared. I will run into a problem, and kind of try to solve it. So that's trying to take care of each other.
There,
That's all
there's
it's
this
about.
there's this inherent feeling about taking care of one another that I really, really enjoy. That's why like I told you, I coming back into this job where I'm being around military again kind of gives me a sense of like I belong again.
A belonging, identity, purpose, and that's the thing that I've experienced as well. Is as soon as you get out of the military, I think there's a. It's not that I think I kind of know. There's a loss of identity in some way or another, and that loss of identity can either drive somebody to do some very irrational things, which are bad, and kind of go down the wrong path, or that identity wakes them up. And I think for the most part, it's not only people that retire or get out. It's individuals that are, for crying out loud, that are injured. They're in the top of their game and they get injured, whether in combat or not, and then now they have to deal with their ailment, and they're away from their unit, they're away from the people that that understand them.
Yeah.
And they can't. And now they have to deal with this civilian life with a new ailment, and it's just like they feel lost.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I do the things with the cycling community there, because that's what brings me joy. Because I can understand them. I may not have that ailment, but I understand that loss of identity.
Yeah.
So that's huge. That's huge.
So he's talking about something that he puts on or is a part of an organization. What is it called? Warriors.
No, it's a M to M. It's a monument to monument.
Monument.
It's a bicycle ride. It goes from Kitty Hawk to Washington D.C. And it's just literally it's put on by the Air Force cycling team. A lot of the members from that upper brass and whatnot, and it's for various purposes. A heritage and fitness and of course taking care of the wounded.
So I think part of it is it's great. We were discussing it the other day. We literally sat in here for hour and 15 minutes talking about a lot of stuff, and that's something that I want to help contribute to. I think after this we'll have a little discussion because I want to
And
help you out
the
with some
thing
stuff.
is that's where a lot of people wondering how they can help out in various ways. And I think the thing is when you get to anything with veterans is the way you help out is two ways. One is either get involved or two, funding. And if you don't have the funds, you can always get involved. If you don't have the time to get involved, you can always have funding. And that's the thing is, and I think the biggest payoff is getting involved because now they know that you're connected and you understand, and then eventually you catch the bug too.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, you're trying to fundraise or whatever.
Yep.
So it's really cool.
So I'm going to backtrack a little.
Sure.
Now, after that 10 years, you didn't want to leave. What made you decide at 20? What was your why? Because some people track to 20 and then they go past 20. That they want to hit chief, they want to hit senior, they want to hit 24, 26, 28 years, 30 years, or whatever it may be. Why at 20 did you decide, hey, I don't want to say cut and run, but hey, it's time for me to just go pass it on?
Well, there's a couple things. One is I made master right around 14-ish years in the service. And then this is when they were stratifying and kind of doing different things. And and also I knew that I'd probably be getting orders somewhere else, if I went above master. And then I didn't want to uproot the family. And I also was starting my real estate career about 3 years prior to getting out. So I didn't want to disrupt that if that's where I was going. And ended up to where I started to find a little passion in that, and didn't take away from the military. It's just that times had shifted. Not only that, but it's not negative, but there's some things that happened about the last year. Doug Couturier passed away, good buddy of mine, and that was pretty rough. I'd already decided to retire, and so did he, and so. But the other piece was my mother passed away, and during that time frame, I was looking for in place humanitarian. Stay right here in Tucson, send everything up to Randolph. All the documents that was required. It was like everything that I heard, even from the colonel down. This is like a textbook. This is exactly why they have this program. So I went up to Phoenix, grabbed all of her records and all the other stuff. Was pulling her down to Tucson for guardianship and stuff like that. That's what we were looking into. And then I put the package in right before roll call, send it off to Randolph. Email. Went out to roll calls about 15 minutes later, went right back in. I said, boop, got an email, and I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, is the file too big? Something happened. What heck? Click. Open it up. Denied. I'm like, what? We're talking 364 pages.
What?
Yeah, and it was
What?
denied. I'm like, whoa.
What?
So I was a little bitter right there. I was like, okay, but this is not cool. And sure enough, about 2 days later, I get an assignment. I'm like, I wonder if this had anything to do with it. The assignment wasn't a remote. It was a 365 to go back over to Afghanistan. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I said, well, is what it is. Pack the stuff up. So now my retirement's going to be pushed out because I had to do retainability and kind of push that out. And I'm like, all right, it is what it is. Started going through all the out processing and whatnot. Come to find out, Doc calls me on a Saturday at home. And I don't even remember her name. She's just like, hey, sorry, Wilson, just let you know you've got some herniated discs that are, you're on a code, whatever, yada, yada. I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, well, you're non-deployable.
Non-deployable.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, usually you'd think that that's a bad thing, but I'm like, okay, does that mean my orders are canceled? And she's like, you're not going anywhere for at least 6 months. I'm like, ooh, that
Sold.
puts me in the window to retire. So I was like, done. I said, okay. So went back into work, and of course, rehab and all that other stuff and going through. And of course, you're not going to get rid of a herniated disc unless you get it fused. So went through all that, and of course, yes, it still aggravates me today. But that was the last straw for me. I'm like, you know what? I went through the right process and kind of got a little bad taste in the mouth. But I'm like, you know what? But love the military all the way up to that little point right there. And then I'm like, okay, But that was Big Blue making that decision, not me.
Yeah, exactly. So I usually, start going into other topics and everything, but I love the fact that you do this for monument to monument. There's a why there. You kind of alluded to it a little, but what's the why there? Obviously, the loss of identity, that these individuals have, and we had that conversation the other day where theirs is an abrupt loss of identity. Ours is a transitional loss of identity. Mm-hmm. What's the why and why you do this, or why you do a lot of veteran organizations and donate and give your time to veterans? Because there's a reason for that, and I know my reason, and this is part of my reason is I get to enjoy and have conversation with veterans. Plus, I also have I'm part of a couple of different organizations.
I think the primary reason is the military does a damn good job of training somebody to do their role. A damn good job, probably the best in the world. The organization training somebody to do something at a very elite status, and results are proven. Mm-hmm. However, they do a real shitty job of reorientating individuals back into civilian society after they've done their role. That is literally why I'm like, well, if nobody else is going to do that, or any organization or whatnot, it's going to depend on lateral leadership to do that. And I think that is literally why, if it begins with one person and two and then three, then yeah, it's a force there.
There's a couple organizations, and you brought up a good point about that transition. There's an organization that I'm working with that I've been a mentor for a couple individuals transitioning out of the military into civilian life. It's always a hard transition. That's something that I like doing. I just sometimes the timing doesn't happen quite right because I'm either traveling or working and I can't. Maybe that's something that we have a topic offline. But what they're doing is they're creating something, and I hope this catches on for other I don't want to say other bases, but other communities within, an environment around the bases where they do have like a transition process where people can sign up from the base, go out there and have conversations with them, help them out with resumes and potentially jobs. I know they have a program right now where you can get out 6 months prior and do an internship. I can't think of the name of
Skillbridge.
it. Skillbridge. I was a part of that. I was able to do that, but it still doesn't give you the tools that you fully need to transition into the civilian.
I think you're right. Well, I think a 6 month time frame is just enough to allow that freedom that you get once you retire. You're enjoying it, and then you start to get a little anxiety from it. Like, okay, now what am I doing? What purpose do I have now? And then you start to relate back to where that was your purpose. You start thinking past tense. It's like, and that's not a good place to go.
Yeah.
It's like it's a chapter in life, dude. It's an era. And that's great. You can always revisit it and have good times talking about it, but you're not stuck there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times they keep going back to their comfort zone, which that's what it was.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like I said, we take care of our own. We know that. We take care of our own. And so organizations have a hard time with that because they're trying to pull somebody in that doesn't want to go there because they don't know anybody.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And just to give you an example, one of the guys that's on this bike ride, I called him because he was one of the individuals that picked up General Goldfein. He was a PJ that picked up Goldfein. I didn't know Ron, and I'm not throwing his last name out there, but I didn't know Ron. But another guy knew him. He goes, "Hey, here's Ron's number. See if he wants to go on this ride." I'm like, "Sure." So I call him, and I said, "Hey, I know you know." I said, "Do you know General Goldfein?" He's like, "Yeah. Who's this?" Blah blah blah. And we started talking. He goes, "Well, I got your number from so and so." And then, long story short, is he goes, "What is this?" I said, "Well, it's a bike ride, and he goes, "I'm in." Goldfein's going? I'm in. And then we kept talking. And long story short, we're getting ready to hang up. And he goes, "So how far is it?" I said, "It's about 350 miles. He goes, "Oh, that's going to hurt." And I started laughing. I said, "Yeah, it kind of does, bro." And then I get ready to hang up. He goes, "Well, hey, do you know, where's a good place for me to look to get a bike?" And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me, right?" But my whole point is the mindset of these individuals are they will commit first and figure out how to say no later.
Oh yeah.
And that is something that the civilian sector does not have. They live in a land of comfort. They literally live to try and make things so easy. And it's just like, that's very interesting. So that's why I think we're geared differently. And I want to surround myself with people like that. And that's why these rides, sometimes it's not about a damn bike ride, dude. It's about community involvement with those that have the same mindset. And I think that is what's cool. And then when you have civilians that get involved in this, they kind of look at you like, man, now I kind of get it. Now I kind of get why you guys are the way that you are. Yeah.
And it's funny because I mentioned this several times throughout throughout different podcasts where civilians say they kind of get it, but they'll never fully get it. They will never understand. You and I met 4 months ago, and like we know some of the same people. We have the same mindset. We have the same mentality, and civilians will. They don't understand that unless they've been through stuff like
I use the analogy of this. I know that. Here's the thing. You're right. You've never been to my house. I've never been to your house. However, I do know that if we meet somewhere downtown and there's some trouble going down, we know who's backing who.
Oh yeah.
It's just a no-brainer, dude.
Absolutely.
And the thing is civilians don't typically think that way. They're trying to figure things out. No, done. So you stand behind somebody.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a loyalty. Done. Loyalty.
So this is a little plug for something else, but Irreverent Warriors, and I've talked about it several times. March 13th. I hope you're able to join us. Yeah, March 13th. Okay. We have a date. I haven't even announced it yet. March 13th, we have the Irreverent Warriors. So I hope that you can be there and join us. And
this last year was fantastic. I was only there in the morning, and then I plan on being part of it.
It's such a great community. I mean, it's just 125, 150 veterans, and we have a lot of fun, a lot of great times. Sometimes it's like herding cats. I'm the local coordinator, so I got to herd these individuals, but it's worth it every time. It's worth it every time because you meet new people, you understand people relate, and then build friendships and build that camaraderie back, and then now they have a sense of purpose, and you get those testimonies that say, "Hey, I was lost in life and I didn't have any real friends because I got out and I just didn't give a shit about anybody else. And now I'm back into, hey, I'm hanging out with this guy, I'm hanging out with this girl, and we're a community again.
What you just mentioned is something that's very simple. It's not complex. And I think that's the thing that we need right now versus, all kinds of different programs and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's just get people together, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've gotten off script a little, and I do have a little script, but I try to kind of just go with the flow at times. But in your military time, what did you enjoy about it all?
Easy. People. I love the fact that it's like a big melting pot. Diversity, everything. I mean, you got people from the East Coast, West Coast, the Bronx, Mississippi, Alabama, California. It doesn't matter. And you're achieving the same mission. So that is something that it's interesting. We briefly touched on it. It's like, I don't care who you are, what you are, where you came from, can you do the mission? And I think too many people on the outside look at all things because of you came from somewhere, you're a certain color skin, or you're a male or you're a female. It don't freaking matter, dude. Can you do the mission?
Yep.
Can you, I got your back, and then damn well they got your back. That's it. It's pretty simple, but we overcomplicate it.
It's funny because growing up, I spoke very little Spanish, understand it really well. But I was stationed with some Puerto Ricans that was their full language. They didn't know English. They joined the military to learn English, to travel, to get away from the island. And some of them are my best friends. I know individuals that have come from South America, from Africa. You meet these people and you're just like, why do you want to be a part of our military? And then they tell you,
Yep.
Because the opportunities,
Yeah.
the just everything about it, and people around the world here. I've done joint exercises. I've been a part of launching aircraft, doing all these things with other countries, and they say there's nothing like the camaraderie from the U.S. military. They have their own camaraderie, but they don't understand. And just recently, when I was leaving the last company, there was a guy that he joined the Indian Army. And it was their equivalent to West Point. He got hurt after like 8 months. As he got hurt, he said he felt that identity loss because he was a part of something big. But he said ultimately everybody's trying to achieve what America has with training, with skills, with leadership, with the camaraderie and everything else. But he still has that sense of camaraderie. And just from that 8 months, he said he feels like it's unfortunate that happened.
That reminds me of most recent events that have happened over in Iran. The rescue that happened just recently with Dude 44.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people go, wait a minute, you're risking all these assets and all these people to get one person? And it's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are. And you know what? I think that sets a statement. One is you're not going to leave anybody behind, period. And for most people, they're doing an assessment of like, well, that's a loss. We don't want to risk this. And it's like, I just don't think that way.
Move heaven and earth.
Yeah.
Move heaven and earth for that one person.
Yeah.
Yep. No, absolutely. And that's why we're close. That's why we're a close knit organization, group, whatever you want to consider it. And I love it. I absolutely do love it.
Yeah. And that's why I think generations that are coming in now, I think they're starting to see that again. And I'm a big advocate, in my opinion, that military was a life hack for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, didn't know it. Now that I look back, I'm like, man, so many skills that I learned being in, whether it was even up to the first 6 years, but up to 20, you started getting into management skills and a lot more leadership skills. But it literally, it changed me for who I am. And hopefully that's in a good way.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
you're retired from two different things,
Yeah.
so that's a great thing in itself. It taught me followership as well, and
Mhm.
and servant leadership. Take care of your people. That's the most important. No matter where you are, you take care of your people. They're going to take care of you.
Well, you just said it. You take care of people, they take care of you. And I think, again, the corporate world has a little bit backwards. It's more about profits first, then the people.
Yep.
And to me, it's more people first, and the profits will follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went with the what did you like and everything, and you said people. What didn't you like? Kind of probably goes hand in hand, right?
It does. It does. I think there's a lot of things that we don't like, but we tend to understand. We understand that things are regimented a certain way. There's certain processes that are done a certain way because they have proven results. You don't come in the military to change the process. You come in the military to conform to the military. And I think the military lost its way a little bit, over the last couple of years. But I think it's back on track a little bit with that. And I think that's literally the mission's first.
Yeah.
People's first, and you don't come in to change it. Yeah.
I agree. And one of the things that I heard a while back is your enemies are training harder to annihilate you. So why are you giving up your beliefs in this system that's been working for 250 years? We're going to say 250 years.
Yeah.
To try to accommodate. No, we need to be fighting and ready in the same manner that they're trying to, come at us.
Well, it goes back to where what you don't like. I remember weapons was a prime example. If you are decertified on a certain weapon, you've got to reload that thing so many times the way you're doing it in your sleep, to where it's just common knowledge. It's a reflex. And I think that's the thing. Now it's like, well, I know how to do it. We're good. Like, no, it's not a reflex yet, dude. You just got to keep doing it and time on task. And I think that's where it's just different.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
These are the questions?
Yeah, they are the questions. I used to have them memorized, and usually, I just go with the flow. But there's key things that I like to ask. One of them being, do you regret anything while in?
Ooh.
And
Ooh,
maybe
that's a good one.
and if you don't regret anything, or even if you did, is there something that you would have changed that might have made your time a little bit better, or maybe taking you up a step?
I don't think there were any regret. I take that back. There's a couple people that I probably should have given a better opportunity or chance with. There's also regrets of me probably not taking advantage of a lot of the opportunities that the military did offer. If I would have known what I know now, get degree knocked out while you're in.
Yeah.
Just little things like that. But for the most part, if you look at it as a big organization and you understand what their mission is, and you understand what your squadron's mission is, you're gonna be just fine. You're gonna be just fine. Yeah. You got to go through the motions.
Yeah.
You got to do some things you don't like to do. You got to understand that showing up on time is late. You just got to understand that.
Yeah.
But we had the liberty, at least within our unit, to be able to do things because we knew it was best for the people.
You talked about being on time is late, and I used to have this guy that now I feel, now that I'm saying this out loud, I kind of don't like it, but man, I chewed this guy's ass so many times because he was late. Eventually, he ended up getting kicked out, which is unfortunate, but it's part of the standardization. It's part of everything that you need to do to become functional. But I had just deployed to, no, not just. It was 5 years prior, maybe 6 years prior. I had deployed to Afghanistan with the A-10s, and we came back and they brought 2 A-10s full of A-10 shells that were spent out there. I have these 2 in my desk, and I'm sitting there talking to him. And while we were in Afghanistan, these individuals came, some army guys came in on base, and they saw us. When you work on the A-10, you're dirty from head to toe. Like, you touch an aircraft and you're filthy. And we were talking about, we were having lunch, and these guys came over and they're like, "Hey, you guys work with A-10s?" And we're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Hey, thank you." He's like, "Tell the pilots thank you, tell everything." Those guys came out and, strafed and annihilated a lot of the enemy combatants and everything. And I use that as an example for him. I use that as an example for others. Those two shells, had it not been for those guys saying that, had we been late to deliver these items and stuff, it was always a talking point for me
They may
because
not be there.
they may not be there.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they may not have said that. And that right there made me feel like, holy hell, I'm part of something bigger.
That's where I say everybody has a role. Everybody has a role. I don't care what position you have in the military. It is not more important than the next position. And some may get more in the limelight. However, everybody has a role, all the way down to individual sweep and hanger.
Yep. And this is why
Yeah.
I have this platform, because everybody has their why, everybody has their story. Some are, more glamorous or limelight like, but we all served it. We all did a purpose for a particular reason. And that reason could be our children, our country, God, whatever it may be. And I don't mean that in that order, obviously.
Exactly.
But we're still here doing this for each other. And I want people to tell their story versus, it just be like goes by the wayside. Because how many World War II veterans are out there now? But can you imagine if this was being done,
I wish.
40 years ago, 50 years ago?
Yeah.
Could you imagine the stories? I mean,
Yeah.
just a little camaraderie that we've talked about makes a huge difference. I would have loved to have heard their stories, or even World War One stories, but you're never going to get those interviews or anything
Yeah,
like
the
that.
beautiful thing is I had the opportunity on Honor Flight to listen to a lot of these stories, and I learned more in that 3 days than any textbook or any course ever. And that's the thing, is that it was just, yeah, it was very profound, very profound. And you were just sitting there talking, and just remind me of something that's actually written on the wall right up here. It's actually, the true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him. And I think that's very, yeah, that defines it.
In different aspects of that behind you,
Yeah.
whether it's living in the now and the past, and learning and understanding that that's what we're building our future towards, or the family that's left behind.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
when you showed that to me earlier, I was like, huh, wow.
Yeah. I didn't see it here before.
But it's kind of subdued in there. So yeah. Now we're kind of wrapping this up right now, or getting towards that end. But this is a question that I really love asking, and I really like getting your take, especially considering you have a daughter in the military right now. The next question is, do you have any advice for those that are coming in, those that are in, those that are getting ready to get out, or even those that have been out for a while? Maybe advice, comments, anything that you wish you would have done, you wish you would have been a part of, or maybe it's a thought process that, hey, like, now that I've been out for so long, here's a little bit of advice and a little bit of a kicker.
Yeah. I'm going to break it down in a couple different areas, because I don't think one statement's going to cover it all. I think those that are thinking about coming in, embrace it. Embrace it. Understand that you're going to be part of something that's bigger than yourself, and it's not about you. Your identity will be shredded to the point to where you're literally folding your underwear in 6-inch squares, and it's for a reason. It's not just to do it. Don't ask the question on why you're doing it. It's a process, and ultimately, go with it. Go with it. It's okay. Once you figure some things out, don't try to be overly creative, because creativity does not work in the military very well. Everything's already been done. It's already been proven. You can maybe highlight or tweak some things as things kind of evolve, but ultimately your creativity is not designed for the military. Those that are in currently, and I'm going to say up to 10 years, it does get better. It does get better, because you start to figure things out. And ultimately, one of the biggest things, if I could tell anybody this in the military, it's what was told to me, was take half of every single raise that you get. You're gonna earn stripes. You're gonna get a pay raise every year, typically in the military. Take half of it and enjoy it. Enjoy it. Spend on whatever the hell you want. Take the other half and invest. Okay. And you'll be surprised. You'll figure out where to put it later. You will. I said, however, take half of it. Now they have TSP. I get it. This is besides TSP. Max that out and then take the half of the earnings. For those that are 10 to 20 years in the military, trust me when I say this, tough it out because the benefits once you get out are definitely worth it. The medical, you may bitch about the medical now, but I'm telling you right now, on the outside, dealing with a lot of people in the civilian sector, it's horrible.
Yep. Yep.
So you want to complain about the VA, or you want just do some research, please. Those that are retired, you're still worthy, 100% worthy. And I know that you have talents that a lot of other people don't. So that's my advice, or kind of things on those different sectors of people. And you know what? Go all out in the military. Just go all out, man. You're going to be able to explore things, see things that nobody else is able to hear and see. And all life is experiences, man.
Oh yeah.
And you're going to be able to reflect back on these experiences and have the best relationships with people that you met along the way that were on that journey with you, that literally will become a part of your lineage and history. So I love it. I love it.
Now to piggyback off of that, great. I mean, he's absolutely right on all that. And I know you probably had these talks with your daughter, or if, just very little talks about the military or whatnot. But what would you tell your daughter? What is something that, your daughter's in right now? What would you tell her besides all the stuff that you just told everybody else?
Times are going to change. People are going to change. If you have a shitty supervisor, you feel they're shitty. Every individual that's in a supervisory role or leadership capacity, they don't want to be a shitty leader. They don't. I think in the mindset of the individual being the subordinate, if you have the mindset of my job is to make you as the supervisor look good, what do I need to do? Okay, because a lot of people think that just because you make rank, it's a top-down philosophy, and it's not. It's more of a lateral leadership. So when you can literally know what they're trying to achieve and you help them achieve that, it's okay. And you're not going to have the same supervisor your entire career.
Yep.
So you can either try and, defend it, or you can try and, push it away, but ultimately it will shift. I've had some fantastic supervisors. I was very lucky. My very first supervisor was fantastic. Mike McMillan. And then I've had some others, and I'm not going to name the ones that are bad, but I've had others that were, subpar. And I think we all have, and it's just not, you learn from both.
Yep.
You learn from both.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be in that environment forever. So just understand that it's not the end of the world. And and do your best. Do your best. Nothing's perfect, but do your best.
Yeah.
And you'll lift your head up one day and go, holy crap, I'm not my 10-year mark. But then you'll lift your head up one day and go,
shit, I'm ready to retire.
I'm already retired. What the hell does this mean? Am I really that old? And then you'll lift your head up and go, I'm almost 60.
That's funny because I'm almost 50, so like I know exactly where you're at on that one. Now, as we're winding this down, like I really appreciate it, and thank you, Black Rifle, for allowing us to have this and have this moment. I mean, they're really, really, really fantastic, and I'm glad they're here in Tucson. Is there anything that you want to highlight? I know you're a part of different programs at Monument to Monument, but anything else that's out there? Because typically, I asked you a few questions that I don't typically ask other people because, not everybody's involved, and I like being involved, with the hike and everything. Like I said, like I would really love for you to be there next one. But there's certain things that I know that you do and that you.
Yeah, there's, yes, I am involved in the cycling community. And I had mentioned before, I said, it's not comfortable sitting on the damn bike seat. Okay, it is not. So that is not the reason for doing it. But to know how it impacts and helps others. I was talking to one guy today, and he just ironically, just out of the blue, he said, if people only knew how cycling saves lives, And I'm like, And the beautiful thing is that's coming from somebody that cycling is a new part of their identity now. And, whether it's not cycling, whether it may be hiking, whether it be surfing, I don't care what it is, find it, and then just engage it and go full speed. I don't do something scary, do something different, and I think that's really what life's about. Don't stay complacent, just get out there and go.
Sometimes as veterans, when we lose our identity, we tend to stay in our shell, and these little things, hiking, biking, you start meeting other individuals, and then you get out of that shell. That shell is the hardest part to get out of. I was in that once I retired because I secluded myself and I just went to school full time. And I went down some bad roads and did some bad habits and everything else. And it took me that awareness to be like, no. Like, I'm going down the wrong path. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
I
I think you get lucky to where it becomes boring. And that's a good thing if it's a bad habit. And unfortunately, a lot of times the boring doesn't come there, and then the alternate happens, alternative. So yeah, just make sure you make wise choices that are healthy choices that are, I think people will isolate to a degree. It's just don't start isolating to where it starts affecting your family. I realized that over time, and I said, well, wait a minute, something's going on here. So I had to reach out and go, okay, hey, this ain't Aaron. This ain't right. What's going on here? So, and don't be afraid to do it. Holy crap, dude. I noticed that, there's a lot more people out there with mental health. I won't say issues. We all have mental health, issues of some degree. So we're all struggling in the same way or in different ways, and it's okay. It's okay.
Is there anything you want to say on that mental health aspect? I know you brought that in, so you can kind of find your little hobbies. I don't want to say little. I don't want to minimize them. That's probably.
No, I know what you're saying.
Find your hobbies to where it can help. But is there anything on mental health that you want to, kind of throw out there?
You're not alone. Do not. And it's not only the veteran that's reaching out. I remember giving a speech at the Irreverent Warriors about suicide. It's also individuals like, if you think of somebody, just call them. Just call them. Text them. Don't wait and have the opportunity of regret later. Man, if I would have just called them. If I, just do it. Just do it. Miraculous things happen. I told you last time, dude, I reached out to my very first supervisor. I don't know why, but I told myself I was going to do it, and I did it. And sure enough, and this is 38 years later. Yeah. And then the funniest thing that happened was 2 days later, I didn't tell you this, 2 days later, the other guy that was on our crew reached out to me. I'm like, dude, this is kind of a weird situation here. But, and again, I think it all goes back to where we're all connected one way. So don't isolate yourself to the point to where you shut people off, That's not healthy.
And sometimes God puts you in the right place at the right time. That phone call could be, hey, you thought about this person. Maybe this person's going through a bad time right now. And that bad time can translate into memories. And then those memories carry him into, oh shit, you know what? It's not that bad. And I've heard it before. I wished I could have, reached out to that person, from almost 5 years ago about this, and I wish I would have.
Yeah, the sense of regret is heavy. It is heavy.
Yeah.
And you can't change history, but you can change the future. And that just goes with a little bit of action. Calling, texting, whatever it may be. We have the technology. Why don't we do it?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and stuff like this. This is fantastic for those that maybe, trying to find something.
Sometimes I just do these for informational things. I've given out information, VA information, or you're in real estate and everything, and maybe we do one on real estate talks. Aaron and I were discussing having something here at Black Rifle, and I just talked to the owner right before Aaron came in about doing something here for veterans in October. So if you're in the Tucson area, I'm going to be posting something for October so we can have an event here to where we can talk about real estate issues. I don't want to say issues, real estate items, and some mental health, and a free dinner. So that's something that's going to be posted out to everybody. There's also, I think, October 13th. I wrote it down. October 13th, for those that are in Tucson, is Kino. What is it? The Kino Event Center is having an event for veterans for resources.
Oh, wow.
Not just for veterans. It's a job fair. It's a resource center. It's for those veterans that may not have as much stuff. I like to throw these out there, and I like to throw them out there on not only to the Irreverent Warrior site, but on my page as well, because I don't know what, as veterans, we don't reach out a lot. We're kind of stubborn.
Yeah, we can handle it.
And yeah, we hold it in quite a bit. If I can get these resources out to individuals and let them know, like, hey, this is where this stuff is at, then maybe they'll show up and just do their own thing. I don't. Nobody needs to know.
Exactly.
Like that's what we're here for.
Exactly. That's
So-
good. That's great. October 13th?
October 15th. I'm sorry, October 15th. Yeah.
15th.
So, and then I want to try to have something here at Black Rifle, as I coordinated with Chris. Sometime in the early October timeframe, so we can set something up, you and I, and I'll keep you posted on this.
I think we've talked about that. It just helps one person.
Yep.
Just one. Just one.
And
The more the merrier, but if it helps one, done. Mission
one person,
accomplished.
and that's what it's about. We want to take care of each other. If I have 30 veterans in here all having a good time and having some good discussions, then I'm happy, because I'm gonna bullshit as much as well. I know he is too. So
Yeah.
more on that. But Aaron, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I figured you were like an extra large.
So I got you
Oh, hot
one of my
damn.
shirts.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
So,
Just let me know what days you wear them so we don't wear them together like twins, bro.
well, but we're in the podcast. We should have worn.
I just glad I don't have a beard and cowboy hat. But you need to grow your hair out the back.
That's the owner Chris has the exact same.
Oh,
and
really?
I'm like, do I want to do that? No, I can't.
I'm
It
still,
doesn't-
I'm still trying to get used to it. I just got a haircut. My wife was like, what the hell? Like, no, but,
see, but I'm clean cut, and he's not. But then I can't shave. There's no way. There's no way. I can't go. I feel lost without it now. It's
There you go.
It's a whole different identity. But again, thank you.
well, thank you.
Thank you to Black Rifle. Thank you, Black Rifle. They're not even paying attention. Oh, there they are. And more to come on everything. Please like, share, comment. I got some individuals that I've been reaching out to in deployed locations that are gonna see this, and so thank you guys for your service. Especially you guys that are out there fighting the big fight. Please take care.
Yep. And I think, you know what? I think I've learned to appreciate more what the military does than I've been out than when I was in. It was just a job when you were in. So when you get out, you'll understand.
Yeah. For those of you guys that see this, I'm going to be traveling a lot for work. I would really love if I'm in your area. I'll shoot out some messages on Facebook and like to do some interviews with you guys. Hopefully I can schedule one for next week with one of my buddies that I told you that he's an amputee. He stepped on a mine in Iraq. And Eric, I really want to hit you up, so I'm gonna message you after this and try to get you on. Let's do this, Marine.
Good stuff.
I gotta take him some crayons or something. I don't know. But again, thank you guys. I appreciate it. He was gonna make a comment, so I don't know if
I
he
was.
wants to.
No, I'll keep my crayon comment to myself.
So, all right. Take care, guys. Be safe.